If you've ever visited Niagara wine country, you would notice that all the wineries are going to be located between Lake Ontario and the Niagara Escarpment, so that those wineries can take advantage of that protected microclimate that they have there. Today, we're visiting Aure Wines, a new winery located above the escarpment, where they're facing some more unique challenges for their grape growing and winemaking. Let's stop in and see how they're making out. So welcome to another episode of On Wine TV, the show that's bringing you the inside scoop on what's happening in the Ontario wine industry. So we're here talking with William Hoare, the Sales and Promotions Manager at Aure Wines. William, thank you very much for having us here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
So William, why don't you tell us a little bit about your property? How long has your family been on this property here?
So we've been here since 2007. It was predominantly Concord grapes, and we've pulled those out in the pull-up program and planted vinifers. So there's 50 acres total, of which about 20 acres is planted with grapes. This will sustain now production of a maximum of 5,000 cases eventually. However, at the moment we're bringing in grapes.
So William, on the property here, I know you guys got like some of the buildings and the barns were here before when you bought them, and I know you guys are switching over to get some more environmentally sustainable things. I know you've got a living roof on one of your barns here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the main building that we're in now actually has a living roof. This is actually not a new bit of technology. This has been around in Europe, especially in Holland and the Netherlands for many years. So it's actually plants on top of the roof, and this is done because it's actually a much higher insulator than just conventional insulation on the roof.
So you guys have a beautiful tasting room here, I noticed, and I noticed you guys also have a wine by the glass license, so you can always have people in and enjoy a glass of wine. What's your plan for sort of tourism and having people coming in that way?
So our plan is for this year, we're just open, so our plan is to get people in. We have our patio open, so you can come in and have a wine by the glass, sit on the patio. Within 1 to 2 years, we'll be opening up a restaurant. That small bistro that will service the patio and inside.
So we're standing in front of the winery here, and we're talking with winemaker Reg Cramp. Reg, thanks for talking with us today. So Reg, where exactly are we located right now?
We're at the top of the escarpment, just above the Beamsville Bench, which is just down that way. We're in Phillip Road runs along the back here. Walker Road runs along here. We're in the Vinemount Ridge appellation.
What are some of the difficulties of growing vines up on top of the escarpment here as compared to some of the other wineries which are down a little bit closer to the lake?
The ones down in the lake, like in the Beamsville Bench, they have that effect from the lake where the wind comes up and then curls up the front of the escarpment and then back down again and keeps that airflow going. So we don't have that advantage up here of that airflow. We have airflow coming from, as you can see, coming from behind us that runs along, and it does give us some airflow, but it gets cold up here. So we have the problem of having frosts that can kill the grapes if we're not careful. We have a wind machine that we put in, and there's another one going in over here probably this summer, and that's going to help with the frosts. But we still have to be very careful how we treat the grapes. Have to make sure that they're hilled up in the fall and buried so that they're not going to get cold.
And so when you were starting out the vineyard here, how big an influence was this location as to the grape varietals that you were growing here, and what grape varietals are you growing here?
They wanted to go with grape varietals that they felt would probably survive up here. So they went with Cab Franc and Riesling, which are both fairly hardy in the wintertime. They have Gamay back in the corner over there, which may be a little bit on the marginal side, but we think we'll be okay with those. We had a pretty decent showing of grapes last year. The birds got them before we before we could actually make wine from them. But they were doing pretty good. And Vidal back in the corner over there, which is growing actually pretty well. The Vidal's doing really well. And our Marshall Foch, which is right behind us here, grows like crazy. So we have a lot of Marshall Foch that we can use.
And so that being a hybrid, a little bit more sturdy for you, and you can count on that a little bit better.
Much hardier than the other grapes, and it grows like a weed actually, and there's lots of grapes out there to this already, and we're looking like we're going to have a really good crop this year of the Marshall Foch.
So 2010, so last summer that was your first vintage. That's when you first got some grapes, and I know you've got some wines in barrel now. What style of wine is Aure Wines trying to make, and what are you going for with your varietals here?
Well, the Gamay, we've decided we're going to go with a kind of a Beaujolais Nouveau sort of style. So it's going to be very young, and no oak, and right into the bottle. Yep. So there's it won't be bottle aged or anything like. We're hoping that it's a nice young wine people can drink, very approachable type of wine. The Cab Franc we're putting in barrels, and it's in barrels now being aged, and that one we're going to have was a more premium wine that's going to be aged longer, and we're going to sell it as a premium product. The Vidal we're using right now is our house wine. It's our base for our house wine. And the Riesling, of course, everybody's doing Riesling because it grows really well, and you can make pretty decent wine from up here with it. So,
nice. Well, Reg, I'm looking forward to trying some of these wines, so can we go in and taste them?
Sure.
All right. So we're back up in the tasting room here at Aure Wines with the winemaker Reg. Reg, what are we going to try today?
We're going to try the Riesling and our Gamay. The Riesling is a nice dry Riesling, nice crisp, very much a sort of an Ontario-style winery. The grapes come from Niagara on the Lake, and let's have a little taste and see how you like it.
Especially for a nice hot day today. We're going through a little bit of a heat wave out here, and this Riesling's
crisp,
definitely
refreshing.
well appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that great citrusy on the nose, but also a little bit of the stone fruit, which I get from some of those Niagara on the Lake grapes.
And it's nice and dry finish on this one.
Oh, that's very refreshing, very thirst quenching.
Thanks.
It's nice, easy. It's dry, but it's got that beautiful tartness that I like from those Rieslings. It's got that green apple, and very smooth, very easy to drink. So, Reg, what else are you pouring for us today? Oh,
we have our Gamay. The Gamay, we've decided it was going to be in a kind of a Beaujolais Nouveau sort of style, so we wanted it kind of young and fresh.
Okay.
And there's no oak, and it was just easy pressing, not very much maceration, and right into the bottle when we were finished fermenting, basically.
Nice.
And it came out with this pepper. This amazing pepper that came out of it. It's got that beautiful, like,
kind of cranberry, strawberry color to it.
It came out better than we expected.
It just looks refreshing in the glass there too. I definitely get that. Yeah, a little bit of that white pepper on the nose for sure.
I've had a couple of people describe it as steak in a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like go with a barbecue or a burger or a steak, or this would be perfect.
And this is a great food wine. It's got that fruitiness, but it's got a lot of that savoriness too. That's going to go great with some barbecue, some sausages or something off the grill. Yeah, that's great. That's a great expression there. You get some of the soil coming through as well there.
Yeah.
It's a nice layered, very interesting wine. I can see this wine doing very well.
Yeah, we're selling quite a bit of it, and we'll probably run out before the end of the summer.
Well, that's why people got to get up here and pick it up before it's gone.
Yeah.
So as we know, winemakers and wineries in Ontario are always trying to push the boundaries on where they're growing their grapes and how they're making their wines. Today, we discovered Aure Wines on top of the Niagara Escarpment, and they're making some fantastic wines up here. And I know that as their grapes start to mature, they're only going to get better. For On Wine TV, I'm Michael Velitis. Thanks for joining us.